Who Called 911? By you/haleyxalana.
Honey, wake up.
My wife, Anne, is violently shaking me awake.
Wake up.
She's whispering, but she sounds desperate. I roll over and look at the clock. Just past 3 a.m. It takes me a few minutes to grasp my surroundings. I reach for my glasses on the end of the table and look over at my wife. She's barely visible in the moonlight, but she looks distraught. What's going on? Why are you awake? I blink furiously, trying to wipe the sleep from my eyes. Anne's eyes are huge with concern. She leans forward to speak into my ear.
James, there's someone in the house, she whispers.
My blood runs cold as I quickly glance around the room. I put a finger to my lips, telling her to shh, and gently start to get out of bed. I grab the bat that I keep behind my dresser and slowly start to walk towards my bedroom door. Adrenaline is coursing through my veins. My heartbeat is so loud that I'm worried that whoever is in the house might hear it. I slowly open the bedroom door to peer into the hallway. That's when I hear it. It's subtle, but it's there. Small individual thuds coming from my kitchen. Footsteps, followed by soft rustling sounds and indistinct whispering. Someone truly was in my house. I look over to my wife, who's still looking frantic. Her eyes were moving back and forth from me to the door. Anne, I whispered as calmly as I could. Call 911 now. She nodded vigorously and reached for the phone on the nightstand. She looked up at me briefly before dialing the number. I put a finger to my lips once more, gripped my fingers tighter around the bat, and stepped into the hallway. It was so dark I could barely make out the walls of the hallway. I took small, silent steps till I was at the entrance of our living room. The whispering was louder now, and I could make out some of what was being said. Isn't this guy supposed to be loaded? One voice asked, sounding annoyed. Must not have been that good of a life insurance policy if he can't even afford a decent TV. The voice mocked. I shrunk down to the floor as one of the flashlights pointed in my direction. Did you guys hear that? The irritable voice spoke again. No, you're just paranoid, man. Another voice finally spoke through the dark. Without warning, something crashed to the floor and shattered. I caught my breath in my chest and avoided letting out a scream that had gathered up in my lungs. What the fuck? A third, much deeper voice whispered fiercely. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to. The first voice mumbled in frustration. Just find the damn safe so we can get out of here. This place creeps me out. My heart felt like it was going to burst from my chest. One thief I could handle, but there was at least 3 men in my living room. I focused on calming my breathing before standing up to retreat to my bedroom. A flashlight swung back in my direction, its beam shining directly onto my shoulder blades. I thought you said he was out of town, the third voice boomed, sounding enraged. I immediately started running back towards my bedroom. Once I made it to my room, I slammed the door and locked it. I paused for a second to listen, and I could hear... I couldn't hear anything. No whispering, no footsteps. I shoved my bookcase in front of the door and ducked into the master bedroom, shutting and locking that door as well. That's when I heard the banging. Coming from the other side of the bedroom door. That bookcase would not hold them for long. Bang! Bang! My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding. I started to quietly sob,
clinging to the bat that was still in my hands. I could hear indiscriminate voices from the other side of the door, presumably arguing about what they were going to do to me once they found me.
"Tell us where the safe is, old man. You don't want to die too, do you?"
And the banging was getting louder. Suddenly, I could hear the wailing of police sirens.
"Oh, fuck. You're dead, old man."
The voice snarled through the door. The pounding got louder, and the sound was deafening. I covered my ears only for a few seconds before the room went silent. I heard footsteps retreating down the hall, and then some faint shuffling, and then nothing. The police ended up finding the men a few blocks down the street from my house. They had only managed to get a hold of a few valuables. While the other officers were searching for the men that fled, a few stayed behind to make sure that I was okay. "You aren't hurt, are you, sir? Do we need to take you to the hospital?" I was thoroughly shaken up, but I was otherwise unharmed. "No, I'm fine." My hands clumsily gripped a glass of water that I was handed, as the officer rattled off all of his routine questions. "Now, sir, you said that you were home alone. Dispatch thought a woman called 911. Is your wife home? We didn't find anyone else inside." He motioned toward the ring on my finger. I froze as the glass slid from my hands and crashed to the concrete below. As I looked up at the officer, I could feel color draining from my face. How could I have forgotten? I hadn't even noticed until this moment. You see, I wasn't worried about the break-in anymore. The thing is, my wife's been dead for over a year now. She was killed in a hit-and-run last summer, just before our anniversary. "Sir, are you okay?" The officer was staring at me intently. I jerked my head toward the house. Questions were racing through my head. How am I still alive? Was this all a sick joke? Am I dreaming? But the one question that was playing over and over in my head: who called 911?
Hello there, YouTube. Stormy here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what you liked about it. And if there are any more stories that you would like me to do, make sure to comment those down below as well, and I will be more than glad to check them out. Now, you folks have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you in the next video. If we all survive.